Ladies and gentlemen, Barton Lynch.
Finally, the right introduction, peoples.
Woo! Go BL!
Ah, PK, you're too kind. Welcome to the Stoked Bloke Show, peoples. I'm Barton Lynch. I am the Stoked Bloke. This is Peter PK King, at Peter King Photo, at Barton_Lynch.
Why the underscore?
I had no idea, because someone had Barton Lynch.
Were you trying to underscore the importance of your...
Well, underscores just seemed like they were kind of the thing, right? At the time, and I
so
couldn't get Barton
annoying to
Lynch.
type those in. You
I
couldn't
know.
get Barton Lynch?
Couldn't get Barton Lynch straight. Isn't that odd? You'd think. I've never really met too many others.
But we do have at a New Earth project.
And a big thank you to them for the Pipeline Studios for what is now summertime out here. There is a little northeast wind wrap, people, that's coming around, and there's kind of... Well, we'll be out later. They won't get it today, but it's like 1 to 2, 1 to 3 foot little kind
Summer
of
waves. Why drive to town when you could just go right out there?
Exactly. So that's what we've been doing. I'm at 6 weeks today, this afternoon, from hip surgery. So things are coming along good, largely out of pain. There are moments when I forget that I even had it. Doing yard work the other day and woke up that morning going, oh, what did I do? So that's a good sign that I actually kind of at moments forget about it. And PT is going to start properly from here on in. It's been, after 3 back-to-back surgeries, it felt like my body just needed to rest.
PT is physical therapy, not Peter Townend, right?
Correct. Well, it's both, isn't it? The first world champion PT. Let's send him a shout out. Always rode pink surfboards. Was a trademark. And then the layback cutback as a grommet. The first layback snap I've ever seen done was by Peter Townend.
Wow. At
the Stubbies, at Burley Heads, and he might have been the individual who was one of the very first people to introduce that layback snap, and all the way through to today where it wins people world titles.
Would that have been the event that you spoke about in an earlier episode where you hitchhiked from a different city to go watch these guys?
Up the east coast of Australia.
Did that have some impact on your life, watching that event?
Oh, yeah. I was already deep in that dream. You wouldn't have gone to that extreme.
But there was no internet. You weren't watching these guys on Instagram every day. These were guys in the magazine, maybe a movie. Yeah. So to go see them in real life was...
massive. You never saw surf stars. They would occasionally come, once or twice a year they would come to town and go to the cinema. When I lived at Avalon, there was a theatre there in Avalon as a kid. And then when I grew up, was a little older and teenager and went to Mossman, we used to get the ferry across Sydney Harbour to watch surf movies at the Opera House. And surfers would have come from all around Sydney.
They would play movies in the Opera House?
At the Opera
surf
House.
Movies?
That's where we watched them as kids.
Wow.
It was so cool. And the whole thing would be full of, you'd go with your gang.
So it was a different crowd than your... concert nights of concertos and operas.
Yeah, it was. They got the riffraff in there. And
probably smelled different too.
The beach rats were in there, and Jerry, the movie would start, and I still warms
What movie?
my
Name
heart.
a movie.
Fluid Drive. Wow. Adventures in Paradise. Then there was Tubular Swells and Freeride, those famous ones. Wow. But I really, really loved Fluid Drive as a kid.
How much was it to get into the theatre?
Oh, yeah, I don't know, but it didn't cost much.
Because you snuck in, didn't you?
No, we didn't sneak in.
Would have been only a couple bucks.
My dad was a policeman. I would have gotten in a lot of trouble if I snuck
only
in.
Only a couple bucks,
caught.
though? It wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't cheap,
$50.
Mate. No, it was cheap to go to the movies, and it was a cultural experience. And you would live monthly for the Surfing World magazine. And I used to be at the news agency and they'd look at me and go, it's not in yet, mate. And I'd come back, I'd go every day. And I'd come back the next day and they go, it's not in yet, mate. And they'd see me walking in and just go, and put their hands up like, no,
they knew what you were looking for.
They knew I was coming in to get the Surfing World, as soon as it came out.
That's
boom.
SW, right?
Yeah.
Do you know that's still I think that was like Surfer's Journal before Surfer's Journal. It was a very quality, it presented an image of surfing that made you buy into the adventure. It was insane. I looked at that and realized that Australia has perfect waves every single day.
Yes, every single day.
That's what I thought.
That's what social media makes you feel like too. There's perfect waves every day. It was a great time to grow up, PK, to be a kid. In the 70s. I was born in 63, so I'm a teenager through the 70s, and surfing starting to boom, and pro surfing starting, and the world's coming to the North Shore in winter, and it was one of those. I love those surf movies. I love those magazines. I love that culture so much. That became my That was my crutch, I suppose, through life. That was the thing that I just lived for and lived on and lived with, and was just so deep in it. It was just beautiful.
Let's jump right into it. We have a movie, New Earth Project, Pipeline movie.
You do. Incredible job too, mate.
Thank you.
Premieres looked like they went really good.
Really fun. So everyone got asked similar questions. The guys in the movie and the girl, Moana. The stars of Pipeline this winter. 90% of it was shot here this winter, right here on the deck. But and want to interview you with the same questions.
Oh.
So let's just rapid fire. This is the Barton Lynch segment in the movie. I might put this in the credits.
Yeah.
And you'll probably have no idea to some of these answers. We'll have to ask ChatGTP to back him up. When was the first time you surfed Pipeline? How old were you?
The first time I surfed Pipeline was 1981, and I was 18 years old.
Wow. You know, most of these people, obviously in the movie, they're local kids now.
Yeah.
And the ages go down to like 5, 6, 7, 9. It's crazy.
Youngest
But
kids.
John in the movie, I really liked his answer. He's like, I wasn't like the kids nowadays. I went out like probably 12 or 13 and sat in the channel.
Right.
And watched. And now you've got parents sending kids out in battle gear, you know, and it's been a problem a little bit where they send out kids very young when it's 10 foot and the kids are looking for the 4 foot waves. And a lot of the pipe surfers are like, just send your kid out when it's 4 foot.
Yes, because they're getting in the way, you're endangering.
Because they're sitting in the way, they're endangering themselves and the riders on the way. So the crowd out there is radical. Okay, so you were 18. That's a late birth, and that's obviously because you didn't grow up here on the beach.
Yeah, and you had to save your money to get to Hawaii. I was actually sponsored by Billabong as a young kid. And then the Australian surf brand called Platts. I don't know, you must
Called what?
Platts. Platts.
You were definitely going to have to chat GTP on that.
When I was a kid, there was Platts and Tracker. Tracker. Platts and Tracker were like surf brands, you know.
Was Tracker not skateboarding trucks? Because that was a skateboarding
it was a surfing brand in the early days. I left Billabong to go to Platts.
Big move there.
Smart move there. That one was real clever.
That's like selling your Bitcoin to buy candy bars.
Right before the bull run takes off. So I left to go to Platts because they offered me a free trip to Hawaii. And that's how I got here, was leaving Billabong. So it got me here. And I just came with a friend, Rob Croucher.
What board would you have been riding out there?
I was riding Aloha single fins, and I had, they most probably went like 6.6, 7.6, you know. I most probably rode a 7.6. I surfed the Pipeline Masters that first year.
The first year?
The first year I came, and really, you know, I surfed the pipe a few times before it, had a few surfs, and then the day of the event was one of the most, you know, traumatic and historic days in the event's history, where Steve Beaver Massafeller goes head first into the reef. This sort of takes place around...
I remember those photos of him being carried out of the water.
That's like, call it heat 3, I'm heat 5.
Oh my gosh.
And Beaver Massafeller goes into the reef. They carry him out of the water, save his life. Helicopter flies in, fly him off to hospital. I'm going, oh, no, I don't want to do this.
I mean, there's no wave runners at this point.
It's big and gnarly.
They don't even exist.
No wave. You're on your own out there, mate. There's no water patrol. That doesn't exist as someone to look after you. The very next heat, Chris Lundy, great surfer, great artist, in charge. Lundy, who was a friend, went knees first, both of them into the reef. He gets rescued. He can't move. He gets dragged out of the water and over to and they fly him off to hospital in the helicopter. And I'm waiting for my heat, mate. I'm sitting there and I'm absolutely terrified. I'm trying to remember who. I know Max Medeiros was in my heat, and all I remember thinking is, I don't want to get through. Right, I don't want to have to do this again. This is Troy. It's gnarly, mate, as a young Australian, your first trip to Hawaii, you're watching all of that, and it's 10 to 12 and teeth. Not clean, pretty, gnarly. And I go out in my heat and I'm thinking, I just want to get a couple. I want to get some and I want to get a couple, but it'd be
and
good.
Then get out of here.
Yeah, just get it done. And I drop in on a couple. I drop in and I've got a photo of me at the bottom of one just kind of leaning in as the lips just coming over me. And it's, you know, it's a pretty big wave on the single fin. And I got some and I came fourth in my heat.
Perfect.
So it was 6-man heat. So I didn't come sixth or fifth. I beat people.
6-man heat.
Yeah, 6-man heats then.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I came fourth in the heat. First 3 went through, so I didn't get through, but I got a couple and
You got a taste.
I did myself proud. I was like,
Yeah.
wow, you actually caught a few. And it was a terrifying experience. That was my first Pipeline Masters, you know.
Wow. What's the worst wipeout you've ever had out there? Have you had any?
Yeah.
You haven't made every wave?
No, I've had some bad wipeouts, but the worst one is a funny story. So it comes off the back of winning the world title, and you have your day when everything, all the cards fall where they need to fall. 1988, and it's January 2nd, I believe, and it's been a terrible winter, dead flat. This is the Billabong Pro as the final event of the year. The Pipeline Masters, Pagey won it, made semis in that. Then we had the Haleiwa event. I made the final of that. It was tiny, little lefts and right, tiny. And then we wait through a dead spell for the Pipeline Day, and there it is, 8 to 12 and perfect, like a movie, mate, like your stuff. So I win that thing, and we go home after it, do the press conference, come back to Hawaii like a week later because I just wanted to get back and I wanted to come and surf pipe. It's a 6 to 10 foot day, and I come down with my winning board under my arm.
Which was?
George Downing 7.6. Beautiful board. I got a 6.10, a 7.6 and an 8.0 off them.
Trifin?
Yeah, thrusters.
Glass-ons,
so yeah. And I really, the synchronicity between those three boards was just like stepping stones to somewhere. Great, obviously.
Really?
Yeah, unbelievable quiver. But the 7.6 is what I rode that day. I walked down the beach. I'm feeling pretty chuffed about yourself, you're the world champ, you're feeling big, you got your board, you're back at the spot for the first time, your ego's rampant, you're an absolute wanker, I'm sure. But I paddle out, big one comes, wedges up right in front of me, and I'm thinking, he loves me, mate. I swing, take off, straight down, nosedive, eat it over the falls, back up, bang, into the reef, slammed against the reef, get rumbled all over it, cuts, come up, and the board snapped. I never rode the world title board a single wave after the contest until that wipeout. And that wipeout scared me to my core, mate. When, hey, you don't go thinking you anything. Don't go thinking you got it and you're the man and you're at Pipeline. You're going to go. I got my ass handed to me immediately after, very first wave after the high.
Wow.
Was the worst low I've had.
That is Pipeline, huh?
That is Pipeline, mate. Scared the shit out of me.
No
and
helmet.
Still to this day,
no battle gear.
I had no helmet then, but I wore the helmet on the day in the competition. Okay. Tom Carroll had one, and we were like, Tom Carroll's got one. I've got to get one if I've got to match him. He's the best out there, So, that wipeout immediately on the heels of thinking you're the man was one of those great equalisers that taught you about life. It taught you about yourself and made you kind of pull back and be a little more respectful, but kick my ass.
What a different crowd that would have been in the water when you first came over in those early years of you surfing Pipeline. How heavy was that lineup?
That lineup was relatively easy to find time without everyone out there. Obviously, there's the days.
Wasn't 70 people out every day?
No, you surfed a lot with half a dozen guys, and you could get waves. And I surfed there a lot, you knew that was the assignment, and I used to surf there a lot, and you knew, the Pipeline Underground, Bryan Buckley, and there was this whole crew, and we're coming in on the tails of Lopez and Rory Russell and Jeff Crawford and Jackie Dunn and that generation, and then the pro thing came in, and
Michael and Derek would have been around.
Michael was, he was one of the leaders. Dane Kealoha was leading. And then when Johnny Boy was coming through as a young man, he was incredible. There was a moment, and I think I've mentioned this in a podcast before, but where I watched Johnny Boy out here one evening, and those big backhand
yes.
where he destroys the lip and terrorises it and throws it into the sky.
Nobody's
at
ever
4
done
foot
those.
Rocky or whatever.
Yeah.
It was 10-foot Pipeline, and he was coming square off the bottom where most natural footers today are dragging in the water and trying to slow everything down and get in it. He was coming off the bottom in that place, and he went up and destroyed this lift and just threw. And in my mind, I went, he is the best surfer in the world right now. At that moment in time when I saw what he did, he was the best surfer in the world. I had no doubt about it. I was like, that no one can do that. No one.
The only surfer in the movie that claimed him was Jamie.
Right.
Said that he's never seen anything like it.
No, it was small wave high performance surfing at the pipeline. There's never been anything like it maybe since too, in that sense, you know. So that was, it was great to grow up in that time, and there was a full underground too of all these people that lived for this wave, and just that was their whole focus was pipeline, you know, and that was
guys like Adam 12.
Adam Salvio, Adam
Yep.
12, we love Adam, and like I said, Brian Buckley was one who stood out a lot, you know, he's a great shaper as well.
They lived for it, huh?
Lived for it, mate. And it was, you know, Tim Fritz, I remember he was a madman out there. Mickey Nielsen, obviously. Marvin Foster, obviously. Marvin Foster was, you know, the apprentice, so to speak, you know, and you watch that Hawaiian lineage coming down from Larry Birdle and Dane Kealoha, and there was that spot in there that was Marvin Foster's spot, and he was incredible out here too. So there was a, you know, cast of characters too. But I always got on. I always fitted in. I always, you know, I never really, in Hawaii, I never saw it the way other Australians saw it at the time. At the time, it was a violent, aggressive, us and them scenario. And when I came, I was quite... Did I ever tell you what Terry Fitzgerald told me to do? So I'm at Aloha Surfboards picking up my quiver of single fins to go to Hawaii for the first time. And Terry Fitzgerald comes over and he goes, "Oh, you're off to Hawaii, Gromit." And I go, "Yeah, I am, mate. Terrified, you know." And he goes, "Oh, do you want to know what to do? You want to know how to get them at Pipeline?" And I go, yeah, what do you do? What's the story?" He goes, "That's what you do, mate. When you paddle out, you find Jerry Lopez, you paddle straight to his inside and take off on the wave behind him. Whatever he goes, you go. And then when you paddle back out after that one, he's going to burn you. But after you paddle back out from that next one, or from getting that, just paddle straight to his inside again and do it again. And do it as long as it takes." And I remember looking at him going, "You're off your freaking head." I didn't say it, but I was like, no wonder the Aussies are in trouble right now over there. No wonder there's this lack of harmony and people are fighting over the waves, because that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, and there's absolutely no way I'm doing it. And I couldn't believe he was telling me to do it.
It's funny, you know, you think about Pipeline has always been a very important wave for people to catch. It means a lot. It's not the same energy at VLAND or Haleiwa, but at Pipeline, all the cameras are rolling. Everyone's attention is there. It means so much to a surfer. Yeah. It's not a spot to burn someone. No. Everyone will find out about it. It's if you perform well out there, everyone's going to find out about it. Like, it means something to your paycheck to perform at Pipeline.
Yes, absolutely.
It's an important location still.
The most important location still. Obviously, Teopo has got its, you know, it's got its place in surfing, but nothing replaces Pipeline ever. Nothing will. It's just the proving ground, as they say. You know, when back then, in the early 80s, there was just Jerry's house. There wasn't all these company houses and all these groups of people. We'd be on the beach through the event. You know what I mean? You'd have your little umbrella and your little setup on the beach with your mates, and you'd compete from the beach. It wasn't like you were in a private house and there was these cliques. But the world title year, Keone Downing, George Downing's son, Keone, Eddie Aikau winner, he was my coach. And we ran our event out of Jerry's house. And there weren't too many little Aussies who were running their show out of Jerry Lopez's house. So, you know, and he kind of, you know, made me aware of, hey, I'll get your back. You do what you got to do. Don't worry about a thing. You know, if it's Derek Ho you got to beat, you beat Derek Ho. Sonny Garcia, you beat him, mate. Doesn't matter that they're at their home, and you know, because there's those, like when you go to Brazil and stuff, there's enormous energy behind the local people, and to beat the locals, your energy's got to surpass theirs, so everyone's in no doubt that you've done it. You know. So
you had a heavy local in your corner.
Yeah, I had a heavy local.
And you were in
my
that yard.
corner. And I was in that yard, and it kind of elevated me to a place in your own sense of self, I suppose, you know, but it gave you a sense of, look, these people care about me. You know what I mean? He cared about me. And Keone reached out to me. We'd met in Manly when I was a kid, and reached out and said, "I know you're coming, know the world title's there." But I was a long shot. I wasn't even thinking about the world title, you know. But he said, "Can we want to make you some boards?" I was like, epic. And they were the best boards I've ever had for Hawaii. Still stand the test of time and set the foundation for the little glory day.
That board would still work, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, it'd still work for sure.
How long did you surf pipeline? You don't seem to surf it much anymore.
No, I surfed pipeline up until the first time I stopped was when my first hip started going and I couldn't get to my feet. And I'd come over then and do 3 months, and I would paddle out. I couldn't get up. I couldn't get to my feet in time to make pipeline. And so the first hip replacement sort of threw the confidence out. And then I got back after that because I was bringing kids to Hawaii as well, and everyone wanted to surf pipe, so you'd have to go and surf pipe. And so there, and then when this other hip went, it's been a decade. It's been quite a long time since I've surfed it properly, 100%. It is on the list, and a few years ago before shoulder surgery, I got a helmet. I'm okay, if we're going to get back on the plane, I got a board, a 7.2, hell yeah, made for pipe. I got the helmet. I was like, okay, we're going back.
What about a wetsuit with padding?
Well,
Are you against that?
No, I'm not against that at all. I want to live and see my kids, mate. I don't want to. I'm going to take every advantage that I can. I've got one of the, the Buell Jamie O'Brien wetties.
You got the battle gear.
Yeah, okay. And it's, I love it.
Especially for towing and stuff.
Towing, I wear it all the time. Towing, and then sometimes big sunset. It's good to have, mate.
Who are the 5 best of all time at pipeline? All time, top 5.
5 best of all time.
It's easy.
Well, yeah, it might be. I have to go back to Butch Van Aertsdalen,
okay.
Jock Sutherland.
Jock still surfs pipe, by the way.
And still incredible.
First time I saw him out there the other day, it was 4-6. I told the story on here, but
yeah.
I said, Jock, when was the first time you surfed here? He said 1964.
There you go. 1 year old.
61 years.
He's an incredible individual.
Okay, so you got Jock. Butch Van Aertsdalen, Jock Sutherland.
And I know you're going to forget people and miss things out.
Top 5, it's easy.
It's easy.
You got
to put John and Kelly in there, right? I would think. And then you got to put Tom Carroll in there.
You left out Lopez in your top 5.
No, well, in my mind, I had
it's
Lopez.
Impossible to do.
I had Lopez and Rory Russell in my head too.
Okay, so you go
Butch Van Dale, Jock Sutherland, Rory and Jerry, Tom Carroll.
Okay, now
John and
that's
Kelly.
all time. Now you get another 5 from there. Are you doing Derek Ho, Michael Ho, Dane?
Dane.
I'm just saying. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
No,
you can't do a top 5. It has to be 10. So give me 5 more.
5 more, obviously.
5 more.
Well, obviously Derek, Michael, Dane, and Sonny. I don't know if you can go past Sonny for his influence at the time.
Is Johnny Boy?
Johnny Boy. It's hard to do 10.
Yeah.
But I suppose the interesting thing is that there are certain world tour surfers that stand out.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And
they only came for a moment and they blazed.
Tom was just so incredible out here. Tom Carroll surfing at Pipeline is still to this day benchmark, right? One of the real benchmarks in time.
Who are the top 5 right now?
The top 5 right now.
That will paddle out if it's 10 to 12 foot right now.
Barron Mamiya, obviously. And then you go John, Nathan. There's way too many. You can't.
Are you going to do Kelly in this?
Yeah, well, Kelly's there, but he might not be here and paddling out. Right. I'm thinking on an everyday basis.
Guys. You're right, though. It's John, Nathan.
Mason.
Yeah, for sure.
And maybe Uncle Mike still. Right?
I know. There you go. I think that same 5 was echoed by a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a hard thing. And with no preparation to think about it, it's really hard to and there's people you miss out.
It's easier to do the top 25 or something,
Yeah.
But there's moments that stand out where someone was the best. There was a moment, like you said, where Johnny Boy was the best, and Tom Carroll was the best, and
100%.
Lopez was the best. All these people had their window of being the touchstone that everyone's looking to in the lineup. 100%. Jamie, Kelly, they all had that moment.
So we didn't even mention Jamie in there.
Of course, Jamie.
Crazy, eh? Yeah. There's so many good surfers.
Because he's a kid. You forget that he's like 40 now or something.
That's right, yeah.
But in your eyes, he's 18.
He's the same age as the others. That's right. No, it's still the spot, Jamie has taken it a little further into places that are
you think?
Kind of unusual in interpretation with the soft top.
Mocking the crowd with his soft tops.
Speedos too sometimes, eh? Speedos and a soft top.
Why not?
So, that's the great thing about here too, are the characters, aren't they? the characters that are a part of this beach and this break, and people who have been living it for a long time. And then when they don't surf it, a lot of the time they're here watching.
Yeah. So what we're going to do with Pipeline Movies, we're going to release it eventually, like somehow online, whether it's Netflix, Amazon Prime, Surf Network, whatever. It will be available for everyone once we're done with the premiere season. And then we're going to do a series. So we'll dive deeper, like, you know,
I see what you're
maybe
saying.
you'll be our host, Barton Lynch Presents Pipeline Series, but something like that, where we dig deep on different people. Rory, Jerry, that's a good era right there.
That's a great one.
You know, and then get Michael and Mason talking about pipe and do episodes of different legends, because you want to hit all those eras that you were talking about. I'd love to hear from Jock.
Luke Egan was amazing out there.
He was great, and he would just come and touch it in the winter and then bail.
I actually, in the final we had, it's funny when you surf heats, you get a feeling for how things go. And I thought I lost that final. I was kind of, it was hard to kind of nail it down. I just kept catching waves. Caught hundreds of waves because it was so good. I thought, I'm just going to surf. I'm not going to lose today because I didn't catch a wave.
You're right. You look at contests. Josh Moniz has won some heavy contests out here. Seth Moniz is incredible.
So many
people that have done well in contests out here. That's a whole nother thing.
Kainehi Hunt's wave.
Kainehi got the wave of the winter, which
Couple
isn't even a
winters
thing
ago.
anymore. Yeah, that long ride. But there's people. Kuio's really good out here.
Shaden.
Tosh Tudor, Shado.
So many good surfers.
I mean, you're judging Koa Rothman, Koa Smith.
Yeah.
You're judging the shootout next door.
How good's Koa Smith?
Yeah, incredible.
So there's a lot of, when we were
top
doing
100.
Yeah, that's right. And when we were doing it, Tom Carroll was, there was a distance between Thomas and the rest. I think it's fair to say.
There was, right?
Yeah, and there's, there are good people at Pipe. Kong's was great out there, Louis Egan. I made 3 finals at
How's
at
this
Pipe.
name? Poto.
Poto was incredible at Pipe.
How gnarly
incredible.
was Poto? Backside.
Poto was gnarly all round in the sense of being
He was riding
pioneer.
6-inch thick boards.
Big, thick, super thick, and able to turn them. And his style and his impression of a wave was so Polynesian. It was so authentic. It was so original. No one did it like Poto did it. Everybody's doing it like someone else did it. To a degree, right? Everyone's emulating and envisaging someone who they saw in a movie, in a magazine, some image, some moment that they go, oh, that's it. That's what it feels like. That's that moment. But Poto's way of riding a wave was 100% authentic. It was just him. And at times it didn't fit a contest thing, but through, same as Elko when he was young, but through discipline and desire. And those guys, they crafted themselves and turned themselves into competitive surfers when, in a day like today, they're free surfers and they're travelling the best waves in the world and they're getting barreled off their heads and doing great content and stuff, But back then there was only one way to not work, and that was to win heats. And so those guys, I love that. They're the people I have so much respect for, are the ones who, it wasn't the obvious route. It was a difficult route, but they went to work about it and created it for themselves, and Poto was one of those guys.
Did you watch the event?
I watched the majority of the event.
What was your favorite part?
First couple of rounds were quite, they're late at night, and I missed those first couple of rounds. Always kind of easy to miss the opening couple of days, because then it gets to the quarters on and the
interest level goes up.
Ooh, my favourite part was watching an all goofy final at JV. Yeah, and it was, Yargo up until that point had been incredible too. So, when you think about Conor O'Leary's run to that final and winning it, he beat he actually got last in his first heat and got beaten by Yargo and Matt McGilvery into last.
It's a little revenge.
Then he bounces back, beats Al Cleland, Italo Ferreira, Ethan Ewing, Felipe Toledo, and Yargo Dora to win JB.
A lot of people would have had Felipe and Ethan on their fantasy teams.
Oh, that's and you look at that lineup there.
But he's a big, brutal backsider.
Those backhand hangers in the pocket are maybe the best on tour.
And as Barton Lynch has told us, 2 backside turns on WSL is an 8. 5 is an 8.5.
At JB, you're on, eh?
Yeah. He's a beast.
Yeah, he's big and he's powerful. He can ride any size of wave. His backhand is definitely the asset. I remember seeing it early days at Snapper Rocks and going, wow, if he can put that together, that'll take you a long way, a sick backhand re-entry.
Do you consider him an Aussie when he wins?
Yeah, they consider him an Aussie, don't they? Representing Japan, because it's, there's not much chance of him representing Australia in his eyes. Yeah. So, the choice to represent Japan, go to the Olympics, great opportunity, respecting his mother's bloodline.
And the ISAs too, yeah.
Yeah, and the ISAs, and making the Olympics. So he's a great surfer, and that was a great day for the Goofies. Yago Dora was incredible as well. Griffin was the other semi-finalist. Yago and Griff semi. Yago had 16.76 and Griff had 16.37, and it was a great semi-final, and Griffin's in really good form too, consistent.
And as you know, Griffin's battling that 6th spot, which he's always hovering right around there. 6th coming into that top 5.
Let's have a
One
look
event
right
left.
Now. I'm going to pull that up, mate.
Yeah, he's 6th.
Yago Dora got the yellow jersey, but again, backhand's got some magic in it, you know what I mean? It depends which natural footers make it there, and if they can ride the tube like John or Kelly can, then they might have an advantage, being able to get up tight in the pocket where, and we saw it at J Bay, the natural footers turns, they just go out a little wider and they're a little flat and they're just a wrap and they're kind of boring.
Right.
At least the Goofies get tighter and it's vert and it's upside down, and that's when and down that inside impossible section, people were going for Hail Marys down in there. Yago's massive air was incredible. And one of the great highlights of the whole event was Conor O'Leary's 10 to win his semi-final as well. Last minute ride, 10-point ride all the way down the point to get the win over Felipe and go on to win the whole event. So congratulations, Conor. That was a massive win, first win of a career. For Richard Dogmarsh, his coach.
Wow, he had both of them.
He got what they call the unicorn, as Dog said. When you win both, the men's and the women's, they call it the unicorn for coaches. He got that. Gabriela Bryan, obviously powerful, doing those big carving turns, looked really good. Molly Picklum, again in the finals and maintaining her yellow jersey. So great performance from Molly through to the final. But in the final, both ladies were a little flat, and it was just the power and the edge and the strength that Gabriela had, the way she drove turns in the pocket, where Molly's just a little more pedestrian, a little more, didn't have that snap and that punctuation at the end and through the rail that kind of got the judges excited. So congrats to Gabriela. That was a big deal. Congrats to Doggo. What a great coach he has become.
I love that you took a name that was already a nickname and gave it more of a nickname. That's so
Doggo.
Aussie.
It is.
He's Dog, but now he's Doggo.
He's Doggo.
His dog wasn't enough.
Face.
Richard. His name's Richard. You could call him Dick.
We could call him Dick Marsh.
Dick Marsh.
Good
on
Marsh.
you, Dicko.
Gavin Dickinson.
That was a buddy of mine. I was on tour with Dog. At
Yeah.
the same time. It was pretty fun. Grub Hames, that was our crew.
Billabong.
Luke Egan.
Yep.
Derek Hind as our coach.
Tell me something about your experiences with that unique unicorn. The finless surfing he does is revolutionary.
Incredible, right?
Incredible.
What a thing to do later in life to really change the world. Now, I've seen some kids that have adopted that in Australia, and they're incredible.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, with asymmetrical, no fins. They create like an edge on the board to dig in, and then they move up to get off of it, spin around, come back, and really fly down the point at Snapper and into Greenmount and all that stuff. So Derek created that, I have to say, for sure.
Yeah, and we see skimboarders surfing Jaws. Blair Conklin riding big waves, wave pools, everything. So fins have become not necessary like we thought they were necessary to ride waves.
I guess the worst example of someone trying to hybridize that stuff was Tom Curran riding those ridiculous boards.
Yeah.
With like, I saw him like gluing on foam to add stuff and like horrible fins, and I guess Tom's back on normal-ish boards now and surfing great.
And I suppose Shane Horan did some journeys to the far directions of design.
On those boards, though. Did Shane ever ride a tri-fin or a four-fin, or is he always on single fins?
No, he did at times. But it was the single into the.
Yeah, I guess that's another story.
Ben Lex, and that is another story.
Back to the WSL.
So we've got Tahiti starting. What we have at the moment is the US Open, which is a fun event. You must have spent a lot of time with that thing over the years.
I hate that event. That's the worst place to be at any time.
I won it
50,000
twice.
people on the beach. Yeah, well.
I won it twice.
That must be nice.
I had fun there, you know.
How'd you do in '84 in the riots when Glenn Whitten and Aki won the final?
I was at the top of the scaffolding.
Yeah.
At the top of the scaffolding, watching the riot. I watched the whole thing.
Welcome to America.
Just standing there at a surfing contest at the top of a scaffolding, watching a riot, police cars getting burnt, people.
But how did you do in the event?
I don't know.
You
I
don't
didn't make
remember?
the final, obviously.
Yeah.
I had a great final in '87 against Sonny Garcia. Sunboy and I had a final there. That was a beauty with lefts shooting the pier and all that sort of stuff and coming back right. And then '91, I had a final there with Richie Collins.
Shane Dorian posted on his story about a week ago his schedule for what looked like 1988 or something, and it was like 60 events, and a couple of them were crossed out, but there was so many events. You guys would have been crisscrossing the globe. You would have gone to like the U.S. Open, gone somewhere, then back to Malibu, and then gone, then back to it was just like there was so many ridiculous amounts of events back then.
And they ran Wednesday to Sunday.
Right.
And you would travel Monday.
Oh, now that U.S. Open is Sunday to Sunday.
Yeah, well, that's right. They've expanded.
So I'm just saying that U.S. Open has been a major event, a minor event, a non-event, a QS,
exactly.
a CC. It's moved around a lot. Right now, it is a CS event.
Yes.
So it is important in who gets on tour next year. So a lot of, heavies are there, and all the people who fell off tour are there.
Yes.
So I just don't enjoy Huntington during the crowd like that. I'm just saying. The waves are never that good. Brett Simpson won back-to-back when it was good years.
Yes.
Andy Irons won on a big year. If it's big, it's
Hiroto
great.
O'Hara's win was great there, too.
I love the north side.
I just think it's one of those iconic events. I remember, seeing people shoot the Huntington Beach Pier as a kid from Australia.
Sure.
And so there's something about that event, about that place that has so much history, much like Pipeline for California. Does. And so that's the part that romances me, I suppose. Yeah, and there's always, that's a big, I won't say always.
The Huntington Hop, it's not always waves.
Through that inside.
Have you looked at the forecast?
No, mate.
No, me either.
But that's coming up, and then after that we go to Chopu for the last one, then Fiji for it, and it's over by the middle of September.
Boom.
Life's back to normal. One thing I wanted to finish up the show with. We talked before, you and I, about how time being uniformed stole individuality. You were saying, we're all on the exact same time now. No matter who, it's
because of the cell phones.
iPhone time.
I used to be a little early with my watch. You could set your time. You could flow in your own movement. But now the whole world is locked into
same time zone. Exactly. Then we talked about TVs in cars. So we're talking about technologies and how they can be a little odd. And a TV in a car in front of a driver is ridiculous to me. We talked about maps stealing the adventure of travelling. And when you've got maps on your phone and you know where you're going, you have no adventure. You've got to get lost to be found, my friend.
That's true. I have had some of my best adventures back when the rest of the world was able to flow with that time.
Yes,
but that the airplane ain't waiting for you.
No, it's not
so
waiting
on
for you.
Game day, you got to be on time.
No, but that's just, you
don't. But I like what you're saying.
I don't miss.
Land in Portugal, go to Cascais, and get rid of the map. Just walk around.
That's right.
Find some food.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm all about that.
And even when you get lost because you meant to, you don't make the plane. You don't know what you're meant to have happen.
Okay.
But once it's dictated by technology, you're definitely not doing what's meant to be happening.
Barton will be turning in his phone.
The other thing, I love my phone actually. But so the thing that in that same vein, PK, that I want to finish the show with today is when you see something that you are never going to see again. A rainbow. When I see a rainbow now, I run for the phone. I don't actually look at the rainbow. As a kid who grew up in a time where you saw things you were never going to see again, and you paid immense attention to what you were looking at.
Well, even the photograph options back then, you have 7 photographs you remember as a kid because someone took a photograph.
But
it was a big process to take that photograph. Someone had to have the camera, the film, load it, wait, pose, take it.
Hope it develops.
Hope it develops, and then hope you see it, and hope someone put it in that little book underneath some plastic.
Yes.
But you have about 7 to 12 photos that you remember as a kid because you saw them your whole life. But now, thousands a day.
Literally thousands. Tens of thousands of photos of your kids. But the attention that you pay to that thing, because it's on your phone's not the same as if you're never going to see it again. And when you grow up, there's times where I just stop and I just look at that rainbow and I just take the time and I just absorb myself in a moment. And that's what when you've got the phone and you go and you grab that moment with the phone, you really don't pay attention to it. and you don't absorb yourself in it, and you don't take out of that moment what's real, what's sincere, what you're meant to take out of that moment. So in certain moments of time, I feel like we don't pay enough attention to things because it's on our phone and we know we can always go back to it. So in the moment of it existing, you're not absorbed in it. You're not just living it and loving it and walking away going, that was incredible. Because it's on the phone, so it's good enough and we're good, we're gone. So I think that in moments of rare beauty, great to get a shot though, because but to actually put that phone down and let yourself be absorbed in that moment, any moment, is an important way to live your life, peoples. That's us signing off for today, PK.
Let your brain be the hard drive.
That's right. Let your brain grow. Let it be free from indoctrination, propaganda, and all the bullshit sold to us. Today's show is over, peoples. Thank you for joining PK and I. Thank you for the funny bone elbow. We'll see you next time.